Welcome back. Today, we journey through Exodus chapter 18, a chapter that not only celebrates God's mighty deliverance but also teaches us deep lessons about wisdom, leadership, and shared responsibility. The story begins with Jethro, the priest of Midian and Moses' father-in-law, hearing about all that God had done for Israel, how he had delivered them out of Egypt. Jethro then brought Zipporah, Moses' wife, and their 2 sons, Gershom and Eleazar, to meet Moses in the wilderness near the mountain of God. When they reunited, Moses warmly welcomed his father-in-law. He bowed, kissed him, and invited him into his tent. There, Moses shared everything God had done, how the Lord struck Egypt with mighty power, how he overcame Pharaoh's stubbornness, and how he protected Israel through their hardships. Jethro rejoiced and praised God, saying, "Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, for in the very thing they behaved proudly, he was above them." In response, Jethro offered a burnt offering and sacrifices to God. Aaron and the elders of Israel joined the meal, worshiping together before the Lord. What a beautiful picture, a family reunion, centered around God's deliverance and thanksgiving. The next day, Jethro observed something troubling. From morning until evening, Moses sat alone to judge all the people's disputes. Everyone, thousands of Israelites, stood waiting for Moses to give answers. Jethro asked, "Why do you sit alone, while all the people stand before you from morning till evening?" Moses explained, "Because the people come to me to inquire of God. When they have a difficulty, I judge between them, and I teach them God's laws." But Jethro, filled with wisdom, gently corrected him. He said, "The thing you are doing is not good. You will wear yourself out, and the people too. This work is too heavy for you alone. Listen to me, and may God guide you." Jethro then offered practical advice. Moses should still represent the people before God, bringing their great matters to him in prayer. But for judging daily matters, Moses should choose capable, God-fearing, trustworthy men who hate dishonesty. These men would be appointed as leaders over thousands, hundreds, fifties, and tens. They would handle smaller disputes, while only the most difficult cases would come to Moses. This way, Moses would endure, and the people would live in peace. Moses listened humbly to his father-in-law's counsel. He selected able men from all Israel and appointed them as rulers over the people. From then on, they judged smaller cases, and only the hardest matters were brought to Moses. This system lightened the load for Moses and brought order, peace, and fairness to the nation. Finally, after giving this wise counsel, Jethro returned to his own land. Exodus 18 is much more than history. It reminds us that even great leaders like Moses needed help. God never intended one person to carry every burden alone. Instead, leadership is about sharing responsibility, empowering others, and trusting God's guidance. This chapter also teaches us about humility. Moses, the great leader chosen by God, was not too proud to listen to advice from his father-in-law. He accepted wisdom, and as a result, the entire nation benefited. So, the message for us is clear: when life's responsibilities become heavy, seek God, but also be open to wise counsel. Share the load, encourage teamwork, and walk in humility. And just as Jethro rejoiced at God's deliverance, we too should celebrate and testify of the Lord's goodness in our lives. Exodus 18 shows us a God who delivers, a people who learn, and a leader who grows. Truly, the Lord is our guide in every season,